What's up, print fam? Welcome back to our coverage from Printing United 2024. One thing that I was specifically focused on coming into Printing United was I need a paper cutter. With buying my Konica from Pacific Office Automation, I need a way to take the sheets and cut them down to size. So there are a few different things that I look at when it comes to purchasing equipment. I look at, does it have the functions that I need? Is it in the price range that I need? Is the service available? And what is the software like? In order to get these questions answered, I stopped by 3 different booths to try to get answers. We stopped by Graphic Wizard, Duplo, and MBM, because those are the 3 machines that I'm looking at to determine which one I'm going to buy. Do I buy the Graphic Wizard? Do I buy an Aerocut? Or do I buy a Duplo? Now, I do have experience with Duplo, so I definitely am leaning that direction. But let's take a look at all 3 of them. With the Graphic Wizard, you can get it in a few different configurations, just like most of the machines. They all will do the standard 13 by 19. Some will do a little bit wider, and some will do longer with extension tables or by manually feeding them. With the Graphic Wizard, it does have a module that you can slide in and out to add perfing or creasing, and it will have different crease sizes or different perf sizes. You can also upgrade it to get a more fancy perfing wheel. You can upgrade the output tray, and there's lots of different upgrades available. With the upgraded perfing unit, you can do cross cuts and stop cuts and a lot of fancy things that I don't necessarily need to do, so that is not necessarily a selling point for me. Does it have the features I need? Yes, it does. The price is $33,000.39. For the upgraded unit with the extra perfing stuff, they said it was $38,418. They said to add the conveyor belt, like you can see in the videos, it is $3,300 and $3,315. Overall, I think it's a good machine. For me, the software seems to be the most lacking out of the ones that I'm looking at, and service would be the most difficult. There would not be a close service tech that's super trained, and that is probably the biggest concern for me, is that it is not often that these types of cutters break. When I had my Duplo previously, I had it serviced twice in the 3.5, 4 years that I had it, but it is nice to have someone close that they can come and get you taken care of. So overall, I do think it's a good machine. It runs on 110 power, 15 amps. It has 3-year parts and electronics warranty. The consumables are excluded from that warranty. It will do up to 25 sheets per minute, and it is rated for paper that is 150 to 400 GSM. The smallest cuts that it can do is almost a 2x2. So good little machine, but not the right fit for me. Now, the Aerocut line comes in 3 flavors. You've got the Nano, the X, and the X Pro. The one that would be the most interesting to me would be the X. The Pro basically adds additional perfing options where you can do the cross cut, stop, or cross slit. I think you can do cutting too. You can do all sorts of fancy up and down rather than just full cut through. So it is really nice. To me, it's just not worth the $69,000 that they're asking for it. The Aerocut X is $43,000, and then you have the Aerocut Nano Max, which is $14,600. Now, with the Nano Max, you do have these little cartridge guides that you have to manually move everything, but it is a good entry start, or like entry point into it. For that price, though, I'd probably recommend the little business card cutter slitter that is all over the Print Fam Facebook group for from Tool Lots, because it's just a couple of $1,000s and will do similar functions. They all will do at least 13 by 19. The X and X Pro will do bigger sheet sizes as well as longer. They will all do 120 to 400 GSM. They all have suction feed. They all have different sizes of touch panels, but they all have similar features. The software for Aerocut is probably the best that there is. They have their own software suite, their own software stack. It is a networkable cutter, so you can have the software on a different machine, send the cut file to the cutter, and not have to deal with it. They have big touchscreens for the ones that are automatic, so that you can adjust and make fine-tuning right from the machine. So software-wise, Aerocut absolutely has everyone else beat. Overall, again, similar function to all three machines. The Aerocut is a beefier machine. It is heavy. It is not on a stand. It is just one big machine with the trash on the outside versus trash on the inside for the other two that we're comparing. Again, great features. Service is relatively okay in my area. It's done through a few different dealers and distributors. But unfortunately, it is not the right fit for me. The Duplo is the one that comes in the most flavors. You've got the 618, the 648, the 746, and then the 746B2. Price-wise, just to go over that real quick, you've got the 618 at 32,900. You've got the 648 at 65,000, the 746 at 92,000, and then to add the B2 module for the 746, you're an additional 31,500. So none of these machines are cheap from any of the manufacturers. With the Duplo series, they will do different GSM. So they'll do 110 to 400 on the 618 and the 648. The 746 actually drops down and only does 350 GSM at max, and then it would be the same with the B2 add-on. You can get different modules. I'm not sure on the Graphic Wizard, but I do know on the Aerocut you can get additional modules as well. So at the show, they had them all connected to additional accessories, folders, inline features of some sort. They have a lot of different things. So feature-wise, the Duplo is, again, similar to all the other ones, does cutting, creasing, slitting. The big thing that is different with a Duplo is the perf is a drop-in module or a module on the end that's manual. So if you do need to do perfing, you're going to lose some of your crease wheels, or excuse me, some of your slit wheels. And that might be a game changer or a deal breaker. And that's specifically on the 618. You can switch to the 648 and you don't lose a set of slitters. But it's not worth double the price for me. I don't do a lot of perfing. Worst case, I'd buy like a Rosback. I think that's how you say it, and do perfing offline. But for me, the biggest thing and why I'm picking the Duplo over any of the other products is the software. And while I believe the Aerocut software is better, Duplo has a better integration with Fiery Impose, which I have with my Konica. Now, the Aerocut does have an impose, like you can pull up their templates, but the way that the Duplo does it, how you can basically make the impose file, export it as, I believe it's an XML, and import it into the Duplo software, it just makes it a little bit easier. Now, additionally, I was looking at potentially getting guillotine cutters, but the reason I decided against it was because of training purposes. Trying to be able to train someone to do a process is a lot easier on a machine that does most of the work for you. And you can get programmable guillotines, but The other caveat to that is we do a lot of short runs, and doing short run on guillotine is not very feasible. So the Duplo just checks a lot of boxes for me. I've got service that's 30 minutes away. One of the most common issues that I had with my Duplo was getting paper jammed, and where the modules or the cassettes pop out, it makes clearing those jams yourself a lot easier without having to call a service tech out. All the machines are super similar features. So look at what's best for you. Hope this helps. Again, the main reason for me picking Duplo is that service is better in my area. The price is pretty consistent across the board for the three machines that I'd be looking at. The Aerocut is a little bit more expensive, but the Graphic Wizard Duplo are basically the same. But it comes down to service, and in my case, also the fact that I ran a Duplo previously, so my training to get understanding for the newest model is going to be very little. So we'll be able to hit the ground running as soon as we get it, as soon as we have the Konica on the floor, that we can get products out the door. So if you have additional questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.